I want to thank everybody for being with us today as we unveil a new park. Something that is incredibly rare in a city that's as well built as Berkeley, as suburb, to have the opportunity to develop and build a new park. And that's what we're going to be able to do today. And it's extremely exciting. Normally, if you hear some of these speeches, you rattle off a list of all the nice people that are in attendance before this, all of the important dignitaries. I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to do that as I move through my remarks today. But I am going to start with one person, Congressman Andy Levin. I want to thank Andy for being with us on this momentous occasion, but remember, Andy remembers this space from when he grew up in our community, and having him here is not only special for us, but I know it also means something to Andy as well. I appreciate him taking some time out to be here with us. So let's talk about this actual space for a few minutes. This process actually began back in 2005 when the school district sold Oxford School, which was over there before, and now all that property that's now houses to a developer. But the district didn't sell. They retained this strip of land right here from Cambridge to Oxford, and that is what ultimately began the conversation about what would happen with this space and what it would look like. Over the years, the school district, and I want to mention former Superintendent Mike Simic, and the very, very recently retired Dennis McDavid, as well as former mayors Marilyn Steffen and Phil O'Dwyer, who are both with us today, for engaging in that process with the district and with district leadership, working with us and being a tremendous partner in order to make this space something that's going to be exciting for everybody. And it didn't happen overnight. And I also want to take a minute right now to recognize our new superintendent, Mr. Scott Francis. Scott, congratulations, and I certainly look forward to working with you just as my predecessors worked with your predecessors in continuing to foster the tremendous relationship that we have with the school district. We are true community partners. Congratulations, Scott. Thank you. So after we were able to come to an agreement, it then took another number of years for the city to very carefully and systematically save the amount of money so that we could actually purchase that property. As you know, our budget doesn't just happen, it doesn't just change. There are a lot of things that go into that, and so we had to save over a number of years to finally acquire the space. We acquired the space in 2014, and that's when conversations with our community, with our Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, and our Parks and Recreation staff were finally able to begin to really envision what this space would look like for our community. But I want people to know this is just the first phase of the development of this process, of this park right here. This is not only going to be a community gathering space, but a significant destination point for everybody to gather, celebrate, and play in an inclusive manner for everybody. There are a number of folks that I need to thank in addition to those that I've already mentioned. I do the rest of my speech from there. First, I want to thank the Land and Water Conservation Fund program for partnering with us in this project with a public grant of $180,000. Now, any of you know that you've written grants? It is a painstaking, arduous process, and you're generally not, sometimes you're not approved on the first try or the second try sometimes. But we were able to make that happen thanks to Teresa's work and her perseverance. And without them, we wouldn't be here today. I want to thank and recognize the current council right now before they go into the splash pad. Mayor Pro Tem Bridget Dean, Councilmember Steve Baker, Councilmember Jack Blanchard, Councilmember Ross Gavin, Councilmember Dennis Hennon, and Councilmember Natalie Price. I also want to acknowledge and thank the council members that came before them, because it was, as I mentioned, a long process that really began in earnest probably back in 2007, as well as my predecessors, as I mentioned, Marilyn Steffen and Phil O'Dwyer. Without the council and those mayors' commitment to this project and to preserving green space in our community, we wouldn't be here right now. So thank you all again. I want to thank the countless residents that helped us shape and create this space over the last 7 or so years through focus groups, engagement sessions, emails, phone calls, Facebooks, Instagrams, Twitters, probably the TikToks, and any other way that we were able to gather input. We really wanted this to be a community vision. It was incredibly important that the community had a lot of input so that this was a space that everybody would be proud of and everybody would gather in. I want to thank the Parks and Rec Advisory Board under the leadership of Mike Kirby, as well as all the past members of that board. Those members, Mike and all the members of the board, consistently led conversations about this park, but also all of the recreational offerings in our community. And finally, I need to thank our Director of Parks and Recreation, Teresa McCarlton, and her entire staff and all of the staff over here. Please know that your efforts, you should be incredibly proud of what you've been able to accomplish here. Thank you. Yeah, I did that on purpose. I'm going to hand it off to you in just a minute. You guys already know, look, the name is unveiled, so this is Oxford Park. That is a nod to the history of Oxford School that stood here for decades. And Oxford Park is a great not only nod to the past, but to the future of our community. And without any further ado, I want to hand it over to somebody far more important than I am, our Parks and Rec Director, Teresa McCarlton.
Earlier this week, I was lamenting to our mayor about giving a speech. It's not my favorite thing to do. And he said, just keep it brief, say yay park. And I thought about that. I thought about stopping there, and I almost did, but I'm gonna expand just briefly. Because when you look around today, when we've seen the park being used and we see all our parks, I think it's important to note that parks aren't just about playing and parks aren't just about kids. Parks are about physical and mental well-being. They're about connection, they're about community, they're about gathering. And right now, more than ever, I think that's super important and we should really embrace that. So yes, I say yay park. I also say yay to increasing mental health and wellness. I say yay to connection, yay to community, yay to the city of Berkeley for valuing these things, for investing in them in real and tangible ways. And a whole lot of people had to make some really big decisions and spend a good deal of money and work really, really hard to get to this moment. I'm forever grateful to all of them everywhere, greatest staff on the planet. I'm also incredibly honored to work for those people, to work with those people, to work alongside those people. So with that, I say welcome and yay park. And now I get to introduce the chair of our Recreation Advisory Board, who has been the chair for a very long time. I'm not sure exactly even the year, so Mike, you can say that. Mr. Mike Kirby, thank you.
Welcome everybody. This is a great day here. I'm glad to see all these smiling faces out here. The council are the ones to really thank for this. They have stood by this park and our department for a long time now. A lot of great things happening in this rec department in every park in our city. Our staff is doing a great job. It took a long time to put this park together. The work we did on the grounds, on acquiring the property, and then on the final work that we did for the grant over many cycles. It took us a few tries to get this grant. It's not an easy process. So everybody out here should be very proud of all these folks involved in this. It takes a long time. Right now we're working on many other projects throughout the city. We don't see that stuff right now. Many didn't see what was happening here earlier, but we see the fruit of all of that work today. So the other things are out there and they're happening. You'll see them go on, and it'll be just as good as today when we open up some other parks and have some new fun things happening here. So thanks to the council, thanks to all of our staff, and thanks to the other Parks and Rec board members that were up here with me over the years. We're citizens like everybody. We're just here trying to pitch in to make the most for all of us here, so we can all enjoy our city. And everybody is here more now than ever, and it's a good time to open up this park. Thanks, everybody.
All right, so without any further ado, we've got these massive giant gold scissors. We are going to cut the ribbon. The splash pad will be turned back on, and we'll all run in.
Oh, this is a big scissors.
Yay!